Hello everyone, we're up to the fourth in the series of Walking to Shul, and we are continuing to deal with walking to Shul and its great reward about walking further than going to the closer Shul in your neighborhood, versus two halachic rules, Zriizin, Makdimin, Lמצוות, those that are scrupulous do the mitzvah at the first chance possible, and מעבירין למצוות, don't pass by a mitzvah when it's in your hand. Comes along the Pele Yoetz, Rav Papo, and says exactly the opposite of what we said last time in the name of Rav David Pardo. שהרב היה עושה כן, לפי שגם בהליכתו, תורתו אמונתו במחשבתו, תרבות בדבקותו, עם קונו ואהבתו ויראתו. If you're a Rav, you're a Talmid Chacham, then when you walk to Shul, what are you thinking? Only Torah thoughts. So, the further you walk, the better thoughts you're going to have, or to be more precise, the more thoughts you're going to have. But our generation, we're unfortunately Yetomim of Yetomim. We are orphans of orphans. We are so far from walking and thinking in Torah. Better not to waste your time walking to Shul. Who knows what you're going to think about? Better to go to the closest Shul and then spend the time learning Torah. So in his opinion, as opposed to Rav David Pardo, if you have a lot of Torah in your mind, walk to Shul. You'll probably be able to go ahead and have more coherent thoughts, be able to go ahead and perhaps work out things that you didn't know beforehand. The autobiography that Rabbi Shalom Gold wrote, Zichrono Livracha, called Touching History, From Williamsburg to Jerusalem, on page 210, he writes that this is what he would do every night, late at night. I had developed a tradition over the years of going out every night for a walk at about 11 o'clock in the evening. I picked this up from the Brisker Rav in Eretz Yisrael 20 years before. I think over a class, grapple with a new concept, work out an original idea. The cold air was invigorating and it woke me up. So as you could see, a live example, Rabbi Shalom Gold says, when I walk, I think in Torah. So, from this perspective, the longer you walk to Shul, the better Torah thoughts you'll have. Your speech will be more coherent. But if that's not what you're going to think about, go to the closest Shul. But it seems like en mikra yotze midei pshuto, which literally means the pshat in the Gemara. And everybody agrees, from the Maharal to other poskim, is that there's something called schar psiot. There's something called a reward for walking to Shul. And that's exactly what the Magen Avraham paskins in Shulchan Aruch, even though this is not mentioned in Shulchan Aruch. In Simon Tzadik, Seif Katan Kaf Bet, he says, Im yesh shtei batei knesset, mitzvah lalechet laharechoka, t'schar psiot yesh. If there are two shuls, go to the further one. He doesn't say anything about being a Talmid Chacham, not being a Talmid Chacham, woman versus man. None of that. He says, this is the halacha, like Rabbi Yochanan, go to the further shul. The Iyun Yaakov, who wrote a perush on the Ein Yaakov, the Ein Yaakov is a perush on all the Agadata, all the stories of the Gemara, and the Iyun Yaakov wrote a perush on it. That's Rav Yaakov Reisher, better known as the Shvut Yaakov, huge posek, 1670 to 1733, and he wrote Schar Psiyot Yesh, Velo Amrin Hachi, Zriizin u'Makdimin Adif. V'hachi Svira le Rabbi Yochanan, Delo Kerav. Simply, we paskin like Rabbi Yochanan against Rav, and therefore, forget about Zriizin Makdimin Lמצוות. Forget about Ein Ma'avirin Lמצוות. This is a psak halacha of the Gemara, it overrides it. The Shulchan Aruch Harav of Shtir Zalman Miladi, the founder of the Lubavitcher movement, writes in his Shulchan Aruch, V'im yeshtei batei knisiot be'iro, tov lelech laharechoka, sischar psiot yesh. And this is not just a Lubavitcher thing. This is not just the Magen Avraham and the Iyun Yaakov, Rav Yaakov Reisher. This is also a Litvak known as the Chayei Adam, Rav Avraham Danzig. When he wasn't running his grocery, he, a descendant of the Gra, wrote in his halachic work, the Chayei Adam, V'im yeshtei batei knisiot, yelech lamakom sheyoter rachok, da'ag yesh schar psiot. So as you could see, even though there is room to say, well, it really depends if you're a man or a woman, it depends if you're a Talmid Chacham or not, it depends on so many factors, we have many poskim that say, all bets are off. At the end of the day, there is something called schar psiot. The Gemara itself didn't make a difference between this guy and that guy, man versus woman, and therefore If there is 2 shuls and you want to get schar psiot, go to the further shul. But they still have to explain, why is there no issue of zrizin makdimin lemitzvot? After all, that is a halachic rule. Why doesn't it apply here? So the simple answer would be, because the Gemara said otherwise. Just like God said not to fast on Shabbos, but he also said to fast on Yom Kippur. If Yom Kippur falls out on Shabbos, we fast on that Shabbos. Well, there's another way to explain it. You see, there's 2 reasons why zrizin makdimin lemitzvot. The Pnei Yehoshua explains the chashu chachamim l'shum kilkol pen shema tidrof hasha'ah v'tevatel hamitzvah. The chachamim were worried that if you push it off, you'll miss the mitzvah. That was why zrizin makdimin lemitzvot, do the mitzvah right in the morning as soon as possible. The Meiri, on the other hand, said that it's for a different reason. It's emotional. שיהיה מכלל זריזין מקדימין למצוות ולא יתאחר בעשיית מצווה, שאין זה אלא דרך מי שאינו עושה המצווה דרך כוונה מעולה, אלא כמי שעושה אותה דרך פירוק עול ומצוות מלומדה. In his words, when you do the mitzvah right away, it shows you're excited and you want to do the mitzvah. When you push it off, you say, this is something I got to do. I'll push it off till I have no choice. I'll go to the later mincha because, when I have no choice, I'll daven. But I'm not really going to daven at the first chance I get. So, plugging these 2 ideas in, you can understand. Those that are more concerned about zrizin makdimin lemitzvot, obviously go with the Pnei Yehoshua's idea. That we're worried if you push it off, you're not going to do the mitzvah. So go to the closest shul possible, so you don't push it off and miss the minyan. On the other hand, according to the Meiri, it's all because you're not excited about the mitzvah. But if you do it right away, you're excited. Well, if you walk a long distance to the better shul further away, that shows far more excitement for the mitzvah because you're investing much more time into getting there, and therefore there would be no problem. So in my opinion, those that say zrizin makdimin lemitzvot override schar psiot, namely do the mitzvah right away and forget about this reward of walking, are probably like the Pnei Yehoshua, and that is, I'm worried you won't do the mitzvah. But those that say, no, better to walk to the further shul, probably go like the Meiri that says we have to show excitement for a mitzvah. What's a better way to show excitement than when there's a shul on the way, right near my house, I say, no, I'm going to walk to the further shul so I could have more of an experience to walk to shul, to come back from shul, and more importantly, to daven properly in shul itself. Is going on,